If you had $1 million to invest in any asset, what would you choose? Think about it for a second. You'd probably think about real estate in some capacity, or maybe you'd try your hand at deploying your capital in the S&P 500 or picking some individual stocks. One thing's for certain, you'd probably never guess that investing in worship music could be one of the best passive income growth investments you could make in your lifetime. That's right. Songs that are sung in churches around the globe can make you pretty phenomenal returns. In this video, we'll be breaking down how this massive music catalog featuring over 700 songs is a great investment opportunity for anyone with deep pockets looking to grow their wealth. Right now on Royalty Exchange, this music catalog listing is available for anyone to make an offer and acquire the lifetime rights to. The listing features a diverse catalog of songs from renowned contemporary Christian artists like CCLI, Here Be Lions, and many more. What's remarkable about this catalog is the historic growth that's continuing into the present day, as well as the upside potential that we'll cover later on in the video. The first thing to note about this catalog and its tremendous worth is that the earnings have shown a compound annual growth rate of 22.15% over the last 5 years. The average age of the songs included in this catalog are over 6 years old, demonstrating more reliable income as they get older. The consumption of the songs and royalty earnings will continue to be more consistent. If you're unfamiliar with music royalties and acquiring the rights to music catalogs as an investment, you may be wondering how the heck this asset makes money and how you, as a potential investor, would receive payments and for what exactly. Let's break it down for you. In music earnings, there's two types of rights: the musical composition rights and the sound recording rights. The included rights in this catalog are all of the composition rights. The musical composition rights account for the actual writers of the lyrics and the writers and producers of the production elements that make up the composition itself. So in the case of this investment, you would be receiving all of the musical composition rights, including mechanical royalties, public performance royalties, synchronization royalties, internet streaming royalties, radio earnings, digital download revenue, any use of songs in TV, films, commercials, video games, and more, cover versions of the songs, and even reproduction of lyrics. We'll get into how the last two sources are especially unique for this particular listing in a bit. I get it. The earning sources may still be confusing right now, but we'll also dive deeper into the specifics for each element too. For now, let's first take a look at the overview of the last 5 years' financial statements for this asset. Looking at this graph and the accompanying table below, it's pretty clear that the earnings from this catalog are continuing to increase year over year, with 2024 looking to be no different. In fact, the earnings from the first half of 2024 alone are 20.1% greater than the entire year of 2020. You may be looking at this chart and wondering why there are big spikes in Q2 and Q4 every year as well. The answer lies in the unique nature of this catalog. There's an organization called Christian Copyright Licensing International, or CCLI for short, that plays a big role in this type of music. CCLI was first started in 1984 to obtain permission for churches to use songs during their services. By the end of the company's second year in operation, it had been abundantly clear that copyright licensing for churches and songwriters, publishers creating music for services was a huge issue. Fast forward to today, and the company now serves more than 250,000 churches worldwide by helping them acquire licenses to be able to perform songs written by others, display lyrics for their congregations on screens and in print materials, access chords and sheet music from the original compositions for their musicians to play, and so much more. By purchasing a subscription to CCLI, churches get all of the licenses they need for musical compositions of over 600,000 original songs. The organization then is able to pay out distributors and publishers, individual songwriters and producers of these songs for uses by churches, which essentially streamlines a previously dysfunctional supply chain of payment networks that never existed prior. They are now helping thousands of songwriters and producers collect payments which they never received before this company existed, and are also helping the churches legally obtain the licenses to perform the music and distribute lyrics, amongst other use cases, so that they don't accidentally or purposely infringe on copyright and run into any legal issues. It's a win-win for everyone involved. So, to sum things up, CCLI payments to rights holders of the songs used by the churches they give license for occur biannually in Q2 and Q4. As you can see from the chart itself, over the history of the payments from this catalog, the most recent quarter of Q2 was actually the highest total earnings period yet. This goes to show that as CCLI continues to reach more churches globally, they will pay out more money to songwriters and producers and the rights holders of these original musical compositions for the uses And also, the original music compositions will be used more by churches, compounding the performance of the songs. And possibly, as we will dive further into the data in a bit more detail, churchgoers themselves' own listening consumption on streaming platforms will also increase. Now, let's dive further into the nitty gritty of the earnings. We can see here that the main contributors to earnings the past 12 months have been the top two songs, I Speak Jesus and Only a Holy God, contributing 44% of the total earnings. What's great about this catalog, though, is that it spans 700 plus total original musical compositions. And as you can see, 43% of the earnings come from outside the top five earning tracks, which is tremendous for sustained earnings long term. We can see that performance is a top income type earner with a 5-year compound annual growth rate of 19.81%. This is consistent with CCLI continuing to represent more churches globally and uses of musical compositions of the songs covered in this asset being utilized in churches. We can also see that streaming mechanical is the second largest income type with a compound annual growth rate of a whopping 30.27%. Streaming mechanical covers the songwriter and producer rights for streaming on platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and many more. This is especially notable as we'll dive deeper into the streaming earnings and growth and why this catalog is so special in a bit. Overall, streaming accounts for the highest percentage of earnings at 57.11% in the past 12 months. Okay, so now that you've got the full overview of this catalog, the licensing organization of CCLI, and its role in contributing earnings for these songs, how you as the potential investor would get paid and for what, let's dive deeper into some unique features of this catalog that make it so special and offers so much upside potential. Previously, I mentioned how the top two track earners in this catalog that past year have been I Speak Jesus and Only a Holy God. Let's dive deeper into the earnings here and one of the most amazing things about this catalog's long-term potential. As you can see here, the earnings for I Speak Jesus grew a whopping 34.28% year over year. This is pretty rare for a song that is already 5 years old. The original sound recording of this song is by a group named Here Be Lions. As we can see here, you may be thinking how cool it is that you as an investor will not only earn revenue from the original version, but also any live version the band plays of this song on streaming platforms and other performance and composition uses in church, lyrics being displayed in churches, and many more. But without a doubt, one of the coolest aspects of the earnings potential of this song and all the other 700 plus songs in this catalog is the power of covers. While the monthly Spotify streams have increased since release and actually increased 25.12% since September of 2021, wait till you see this. So, the original sound recording for this song came out in 2019, right? But renowned worship singer Charity Gale released her own cover version of the song in September 2021 that now has over 46 million streams on Spotify and over 121 million views on YouTube. Not only are the total streams and views for this cover version phenomenal, but the growth is still happening. Despite being 3 years old, the cover just had its highest streaming Spotify month ever with over 2.45 million monthly streams. That's an increase in monthly Spotify streams of 48.81% in less than a year, dating back to December 2023. And despite it hitting a monthly views peak of 6.6 million on YouTube in February of this year, the current monthly views count of 3.7 million is still an impressive 135% increase since May of 2022. This cover version is also getting close to 6,000 Shazams a month consistently, which shows us that people are hearing this song, whether at their church services, on the radio, on social media like TikTok or Instagram, or on streaming platforms, and actively liking it so much that they want to find out exactly what it is so they can continue to listen to it over time. Even Spotify's editorial playlists focused on worship and the gospel are in love with this cover. It holds the number 2 spot on the Worship Wednesday playlist with over 200,000 followers who have this playlist in constant listenership, and it also holds the number 6 spot in the Everyday Inspiration playlist that has over 613,000 followers. The total audience size of this particular type of music is absolutely massive. And look even further, another cover of this song is doing over 200,000 streams a month on Spotify. That's 60,000 more streams a month on average than the original. And as people who are close to the church and this music can attest to, once a powerful song is released, a multitude of covers always pop up with the potential to be large contributors to earnings on the composition side. Like I mentioned before, the rights holders of this asset, which could be you, will be earning from any cover, both already released and even those that haven't been released yet, of any of the songs in this listing because their rights cover the original songwriters and producers. And it's a cycle that keeps on giving. Think about it like this. The original song is released by worship artists and gets picked up a decent amount in churches worldwide under CCLI licenses. Then a few years later, another artist releases a cover version of the original that absolutely explodes on streaming platforms and from their YouTube performance. Now, all of a sudden, not only are more covers popping up as well, contributing to more listenership and earnings, but the original version is getting more streams. And since the cover version has become so popular, now it's even more popular with the churches. And so the CCLI payments increase as more churches use it more often in their services. The compounding effect in various earning sources is wild. And we can see the same behavior in other songs in this listing that continue to grow their earnings as well. The second top earner in this catalog, Only a Holy God, released in 2016, has seen monthly Spotify growth on the original version 319.58% since June of 2021 to this past month. Covers from other groups have millions of streams on this one as well. Take this cover by the group Praise and Harmony, for instance. The monthly Spotify streams for this version have increased from 6.7 thousand a month to 25,000 a month in the past 3 years for a growth of 268.7% in monthly streams. The third top earner in this catalog, Yet Not I, But Through Christ in Me, shows some of the most exciting streaming growth of any song in the entire listing. The original version of this song by the famous worship group CCLI was doing about 440,000 streams a month on Spotify 3 years ago, and in this past month, did its most ever at 1.8 million streams. That's good for an increase of 316.6% in monthly Spotify streams. Even more mind-blowing is the YouTube views activity growth on this song. The song was doing roughly 266,000 views per month in February 2022 and has since skyrocketed to 1.9 million views per month as of the most recent month. That's good for a growth of 643.9% in monthly YouTube views. What's even more wild is that the rocket ship of growth has been the most extreme in the most recent months. The increase since the beginning of 2024 has been a massive 290% in monthly views. This is extremely exciting when you consider that royalty payments are usually on a 3 to 4 month delay from performance/streaming consumption to actually being paid out. This means that whoever buys this catalog will receive a huge percentage influx of earnings growth from streaming from this song in the next few pay periods that hasn't even been included in the financial statements yet. And better yet, as the song continues to gain popularity, it'll surely receive the same cycle that the previous songs we touched on went through as well, being picked up in more church services, which will increase the CCLI license payouts in future pay periods. Also, take a look at the TikTok activity on this song as well recently. This isn't the only one in this catalog that's showing this kind of activity. Thousands of user-generated videos created with the song and multiple original sounds in the app that thousands of people have used for videos that have racked up hundreds of thousands and even millions of views, spreading them to even more and more people. And here we have another cover that has increased in popularity dramatically thanks to the reach of the original. This one by a group called the Worship Initiative has seen monthly Spotify streams grow 61% just since the beginning of 2024. And yet another cover as well has seen Spotify monthly stream increase from 48,000 a month to 228,000 a month for an increase of 369.6% in just a year and a half. Here we can look at another song in this catalog by CCLI, Good and Gracious King. The year-over-year earnings have grown 88.72% for this track in the catalog listing. The most recent month's Spotify streams of over 490,000 is an increase of 373.1% from the end of 2021, showing that the popularity of this song, as well as many others featured here, are still continuing to rise. The growth in so many of these 700 plus songs could be discussed for days, whether it being from increased streaming consumption thanks to editorial playlists on Spotify, or even TikTok or Instagram Reels activity, which increases streaming consumption as well, which then compounds into more uses at more churches around the globe as they get more popular, which can also compound to even more covers being created, which the rights in this catalog, like we previously mentioned, will earn revenue from, and the cycle keeps continuing. Take a look at some of the big year-over-year growers from this catalog and see how some of them have covers with already over 1 million plus streams across Spotify and other platforms and are directly contributing to that compounding cycle just discussed. Diving into the earnings more in depth, you don't get an opportunity like this often, where the first half of 2024 earnings alone for so many of the songs here in so many of the categories are already much greater than half of the total 2023 earnings, if not close to or already surpassing the entire previous year's totals. So if you're interested in one of the greatest opportunities of a phenomenal growing passive income investment, look no further. If you're already a verified investor on Royalty Exchange, get your offer in as soon as possible, as this catalog is surely to attract a lot of high profile attention. If you're new to royalty investing, sign up as an investor with the link below to get started and share this with someone you know who may be interested in this tremendous growth asset as well. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I'll do my best to answer anything you may have. See you next time.